item is the legislative update.
Just a brief summary of about 12.5 bills that are filed. There's about that many more that are either in title only or are subjects that didn't seem to have a direct impact on Park City School District that I thought was worth you hearing today. I'm not going to go through the 12.5. I just want to bring a couple to your attention, maybe about 5. First one is House Bill 250 from Representative Draxler. This one will impact, or may impact you individually. This is changing the concept of how local board members represent their constituencies at a board meeting. The general thought is that you as board members come and your concerns are about the school district and the students as a whole, and not necessarily the voting party that puts you into office. This bill will change that perspective and say, no, when you come to the board meeting, you actually represent the voting constituency of your district, and you bring those issues to the board meeting with that intent in mind. So you may already be thinking that way, so this is like no big news, but in some areas, there was a more holistic view of the school district when you came to the board and did board business, that you were looking after all students' needs, not necessarily those that just come from your district. So just something to think about. One a little closer to the process is Representative Powell's bill, House Bill 260, and he is proposing that the financial reporting requirements that each of you have be changed from the state level Board of Education financial reporting requirements, which had like I'm going to get the dates mixed up, there was like a May 15th reporting date, October 31st, and then a couple of in between.
Yeah, right.
This would have you report your financial information on the same level as a county officer, which is a report 2 weeks before the election and 2 weeks after the election. So it just changes that burden that you have in your financial affairs as a public officer. Senator Thatcher, Senate Bill 37, has a bill out here that would change how our registration packets would be put together in notifying parents of different things happening at the school. This one in particular requires that a full page at the front of the packet advertise the statewide online education program. So this would be the first thing a parent would see as they go through their packets. So that would change our procedures and how we manage registrations here at the district. You're allowed to make comments along the way. Senate Bill 39 from Senator Osmond deals with the idea of homeschooling and puts some requirements on both the parents and on the school district in managing the affairs of these types of students. What it requires the school district to do is to develop a process by which we would certify that a student will be excused from school. And there are 6 different categories that we would have to identify why we would issue a certification. So that's our burden, is to provide a certificate to those students who will not be attending the schools. We also have the burden of providing an assessment. So the parent can come to the district and say, I need you to assess my student to determine what their skills and knowledge level is, and then to use that information to determine what their grade level would be. So those are responsibilities that we would have under this bill as a district. We do not get to charge a fee for that assessment. However, if the parent wishes a subsequent follow-up assessment, we have the opportunity to assess a fee for that. So that's what Senate Bill 39 is drafted to do at this point. Senate Bill, on the same page, Senate Bill 101, again, Senator Osmond. This one changes the timelines for the adoption of an educator evaluation system. So we don't have to have a system identified until let me slide over here, until the 15-16 school year. And the compensation associated with that system needs to be in place by the 16-17 school year.
Delay things a year?
Delays it a year.
It's not required that it be delayed a year.
No, the language actually says right here, no, let me slide it over a little more. Compensation tied to evaluation no later than 16-17. So yes, an earlier implementation is possible, but the bill doesn't require it.
I'm going to say something. Not to say.
Senate Bill 103, again, Senator Osmond is putting forward the idea that the local school board should be the one determining how many school days are required for an academic year. And so, and it's only about 3 sentences long that accomplishes this.
You can choose anything?
Yeah.
What's that? So,
You choose anything?
so you can choose, and that whatever we choose will then become the computation for the ADM, which is the average daily membership. That's the basic unit that drives funding through the WPU. So you would, if you said it was 2 days, they would calculate it for 2 days, and that would be your ADM. So that's out there. I don't have any take on if it has legs or not, but it's a local issue. Then I'll stop here with Senate Bill 111. Again, Senator Osmond has proposed a new calculation for funding the school minimum program. The intent here is to allow, but you understand that in the certified basic rate, that if assessed valuations go up, the certified rate goes down, so that the revenue generated are equal to the prior year's budget. So he's looking at that mechanism, and he's saying that we'll let the certified rate drop in periods when assessed valuations go up, but we won't set the basic rate at that certified rate. We'll keep it at the statutory level, which is higher, which will generate more revenue. The fiscal note on this right now says it will generate $44 million given the current certified rate situation. That money, so that $44 million, would go into a restricted account, which would then be distributed out to the school districts on the same formula that's used for the trust lands funding right now, which is essentially a base plus student enrollment formula. In our case, we would see quite a bit of money go out the door on the tax side, and so the potential of retaining those monies will be lost to the district, and a small amount would come back through the trust lands formula. I haven't sat down to figure out all of the numbers, but it seems to be in the neighborhood that about $2 million would go out in the incremental tax, and we'd probably get maybe $250,000 back through the trust lands. So don't hold me to those numbers yet, but that's kind of the proportion. It's about 10 to 1.
Which could effectively hamper our ability to raise money through adjustments to our own taxes.
Yes, so the other levies, not that we hit our maximums in statute, but it'll be the public will say, hey, wait, if my tax is going up in the basic levy, I don't have any room for you to do a board or a local levy.
Right.
Don't talk to me about capital levy or even debt service right now. So you're right, that there is indirect impact on the rest of the levies that the board can assess.
Indirect being an important word there, because it doesn't preclude us from adjusting our board levy. And we would
So it would just be the
get
reality.
to keep that,
This is a real practical.
but it's the
effect.
basic levy that comes out.
Oh, it has a real dollar effect, yes, especially if there's growth. The more growth we have, the more we get back. It's actually just another equalization bill. All of it is.
All right, with that, there are many
Well,
more
there's
bills
some-
out there. I encourage you to look at.
Well, do you want to talk about, maybe it's further over, I don't know, about, or to highlight that the distribution is to the schools, not to the district?
Sure, I can talk about how that works. So in this bill, Senator Osmond envisions that this restricted account will be, again, distributed through the trust lands formula. Well, currently, that trust lands money goes to the school community councils. And so that would be the governing body that would see that revenue come in, tie the money to the school improvement plans, which then come to the board for authorization. So the decision-making level of this particular piece of money will be at the school level, site level, under the school community councils.
And some legislation starts next week.
Next week,